Hello everybody, this is Kenny with Natural State Gardener. Glad to see you back. It's been a while since we've been on here, but we made a promise to ourselves that 2021 we're going to document everything that we do in our garden this year. And this is as much for us as it is for you guys, but it's a learning process. Hopefully we can teach you something. Here comes somebody in a loud truck right now, so there you go. Anyway, today's the 3rd of January. It's a beautiful day. It's in the 50s, sun shining. Kind of gets you out of some of that winter doldrum. And so today, what we decided to do, and I've been intending to do this for a long time, is we've got some cannies in our front bed here that we're going to move. We can keep cannies in the ground here. It doesn't bother them. We're in 7B, 8A here in Central Arkansas. Depends on the year. I did look at the Farmer's Almanac yesterday and it said our last frost date here is supposed to be the last week of March this year. So we're about 3 weeks, they say, who knows, that's the Farmer's Almanac, which generally has been pretty reliable most years. But the last week of March is supposed to be our last frost date. But anyway, I don't know why I'm rambling about that. Here's what we're doing. Here's what we've got going on. I think, you've seen some videos last year of all this bed, how full it was and how everything was just completely cluttered and crammed in here. And it was a beautiful bed. Of course, winter comes, everything goes dormant. It has to sleep a while. So what I decided to do, actually, these cannas, we put a little batch of cannas in here last year. And our cannas just absolutely multiplied. And like I say, you can keep them in the ground here year round, but I decided to dig some of these up because they crowded out a lot of things that we've had in here. In fact, we had some dahlias and different things that the cannies just absolutely crowded out. And our maple tree here, our red maple that we got, it doubled in size last year, so they were going to be crowded up against it. So we took a lot of them out, and what I'm going to do, I went to TSC yesterday, and they still had a whole bunch of their jonquil bulbs still for sale. So they had them on sale and I bought what they had left. And so I've been putting some jonquil bulbs in, the last.
Also known as daffodils.
Daffodils, jonquils, they know what they are. Easter flowers. Some people, we always called them Easter flowers when I was a kid. But anyway, they're going to go in here. And so I'll show you that in a little bit. When we dug, come over here and I'll show you these cannas, what they look like when we dug them out. This actually is supposed to be, I hope it's hardy here. It's a ginger plant, and it looks a lot like a canna in this place here, but I think it's marginally hardy here. But we've not had any cold weather. I think the coldest morning we had was like 23 or 24 degrees, and it didn't stay there long. I mean, it went ahead and warmed on up during the day, and they're mulched up pretty well. So I'm thinking that maybe we'll get by with these, and I hope they come back because honestly, just to tell you the honest truth, we were a little bit too lazy and just didn't dig them out. And then another thing, I thought, well, let's just see how hardy they are. So we're going to see how those are. They look a lot like the cannies, but they're not. They're actually
Priscilla is soaked.
Where has she been?
I don't know.
There's Priscilla. She on that. Priscilla. We had another little cat named Elvis. We had Elvis and Priscilla. And Elvis, I guess he was surprised adopted or something.
You're soaking wet.
Of course, you all know Dixie. She's been with us about a year. She's acclimated to us real well. But here's our cannies. If they don't mind my old truck, I'm getting into the shop tomorrow. But anyway, these are what our canny bunches look like. And these individual bulbs, a lot of people say, take those, put them in a cool, dry place, and wait till spring and put them in the ground. Nah, I'm going to go ahead and bury them now. I promise you they'll come up, and they'll be just fine. But we've got big bunches here. And we're going to take them back along the creek back there, just pull them off. And then you've got another canny bulb. You see the roots coming off of it already, but they won't freeze. We'll get them deep enough in the ground. They'll be fine and they'll come right on. Matter of fact, last year we got a whole bunch of these cannies from our farm and we dug those out in March or April, I believe it was. They were already starting to put heads on them. We dug them out and put a lot of them around in the yard in different places, but they're a bronze. These are a bright green. They have a bright green foliage on them with, I think it's a red flower, isn't it? Is it red or is it coral color?
Red.
Red. We had a coral one in there that I don't know if we've lost it or not. I can't remember. But anyway, to divide these things, there's nothing to it. Just take a sharpshooter shovel and just divide them. There you are. You got several bulbs in there, several roots, several bulbs. I'm going to try to not take much dirt off of them as I plant them. Those just happened to come out as we were prying them out of the ground. But I'm going to plant those just like that, and they'll come on next spring and be just fine. So we'll walk back here and I'll show you where I'm going to put them, and we'll kind of look at our garden where it is right now and pay no mind to our messes. I mean, it is winter time and we're just now kind of getting out in the yard. We just kind of had a decent day that we could together. So if you want to walk back here, come with us down to the creek and I'll show you where we're going to put them. Okay, Christina wanted to get out of the mess. We got a mess behind us. Here's our little pond area. You can see it's all died back. It looks terrible. We've got cannies coming up. We had cannies over there and cannies behind it. We've also got some cannies up there beside our house behind that electrical box. And they did really well last year. You can see they've multiplied. I mean, down here to us, our cannies just multiply like crazy. We've got some more in these pots. We've got some cannies in these pots.
With my spray paint.
We've got a bunch of them over here that against our power pole. So it's not that we necessarily like cannies that much. They are great. They're tall. They give us a lot of structure in the garden. We just wound up with them just because they do multiply like they do.
We've got daffodils coming up already.
We have daffodils coming up 3rd day of January. Check them out.
Those might be a little easier to see, but there's a bunch right there.
Now you can see, here's our bulbs that I picked up at TSC. They were 75% off at $7, so they were like $2. So there's 8 bulbs in here. Then we bought some that are a mixture.
They're right there in the next bed.
Okay, they're a mixture of different types of daffodils. There's 21 bulbs in those. They're all hard, solid. I'm gonna put them in the ground. People say, oh, it's too late to plant them. No, they're fine. I'll guarantee you they'll come up. If they don't come up this year, they will come up next year. But I'll guarantee you they'll come up this year. And they may not put on a great show, but as years go by, they will. And daffodils are a lot like cannies. They'll multiply in the ground. I mean, within 3 to 5 years, they'll be so thick that we'll actually have to come in and separate them or they won't bloom. You know, you'll have to take some of the bulbs out and move them somewhere else. But anyway, there's those. Let's go down here to the creek. Here's a disaster we have, and we've got to figure out a way to fix this. When we put up this trellis and put our peach rose or our
New Dawn
rose on it, we didn't allow for the fact that those canes are heavy and they catch wind, and so we've had some wind and it's fallen over. They're not broke, so I'm going to leave them alone for a day or two until I can get some stakes in here and stake it up like it should be. Looks like Porchy's having a good time with Dixie over there.
Porty refuses to go to her room until daytime. Now she wants in there with her buddies.
Yeah, she's a weird chicken. She doesn't like to roost like the rest of them. She roosts up on our deck. For some reason, we call her Porchy because that's where she likes to hang out. She doesn't hang out with the rest of the bunch. And why, I don't know, but it's kind of a weird bird. But she's a good little layer. We find eggs laying on the ground everywhere. She doesn't lay in any particular spot. So those eggs either freeze or we let something else eat them. But there she goes. Here's our row of all of our knockout roses. We've got to get those shot, cut back. We're going to really give them a good haircut this year and fertilize them good. These are the ones, if you remember, they were in another bed on the other side of the yard, and we dug them up last year about this time and came in here and put them in. And they didn't miss a beat. I mean, they were beautiful this year. I don't know if we've got any pictures that we can flash up and show you, but they were just a beautiful fire red all summer long in through here. Our grass, our ornamental grass here, you can see it. It's pretty in the wintertime. I call it fireworks grass. I don't know exactly what type it is. I'm not good at keeping up with the labels, but it does put on a great show with all the plumes that come up in the wintertime. Now, in about a month and a half, when things start greening up a little bit, I'll take my lawnmower and I'll mow them right down to the ground. and get rid of all that old dead stuff and let them come up fresh. Fertilize them, and they'll come right on, and in no time, and they'll double again in size this year. And they make a good little hedge. You know, we planted them about 3 feet apart, and it makes a good hedge.
Kenny, can you call Dixie?
Huh?
Will you please call Dixie away from Porchy?
Dixie, come here. Leave Porchy alone. Come on, Dixie. Come on, baby. Leave Porchy alone. Dixie, come on. Dixie.
You're gonna give her a nervous tick.
You're gonna give her a nervous tick, baby. All right.
Got lots of unfinished projects. This yard gets the cake, guys, but I'm sure ours is not the only one that looks this way. I think I may put a few of these out here.
These little trees in over here.
We'll walk back here to the creek and take a look and see what we're looking at. Looks like we're having a little drainage problem here. Every year, Christine and I get out here with our little sharpshooter shovel and our other shovels, and we come and we dig these little ditches. It's kind of fun to watch the water drain. Another little project that we've neglected. They just caught up with leaves here.
She says I'm drinking that, Daddy.
Anything she's not supposed to.
Oh, okay, come on. Sorry, guys.
Squirrel. Sorry, got sidetracked. There are oak stalks still sticking up. And I'll tell you, Christina and I have come to a thought, or she did last night. Tell them what your thought is, babe.
I'm probably only going to use that for vegetables, and the rest of the beds will be flowers that we can cut flowers for the farmers market and bouquets and things like that. I think that's what we're gonna do. We'll be able to put plenty of flowers in this section, and then that bed over there, and then lots of sunflowers down the edge over there. So I think that's what our plan is this year, but that's always subject to change. And then this bed, the original first garden, will just be where we put our tomatoes and the vegetables that we do definitely want to continue to grow.
Now I may have a row or two of strawberries, kind of as an homage to my grandpa, because when he had this place, this whole back was just full of nothing but a strawberry field. He raised 3,000 feet of strawberries back here, and he had some of the best berries in the county, and people would come from all over to get some of his strawberries. So I'm probably going to try to find some strawberry sets pretty soon and put those out. You know, this is the time of the year to start thinking about setting your strawberries out and getting sets for those. So Dixie ran her all the way up the tree.
Let's hope she can make it back down. There she is.
Maybe she can get back down the tree.
If not, I'll rescue her directly. Oh, here she comes.
Here's a little ash tree I've got to get.
Will she fall? Insert dramatic music. Hold on, we're watching the cat. She's gonna make it. Okay, that's on film.
He is so old, and he is so miserable. And there's not much else the doctors can do for him anymore. His allergies and his ear infections are chronic, and the little dog is miserable. And I love him. I've had him for years, but I have got to put him down, and it's a sad deal. So I just try to avoid it. But anyway, right through here, I thought maybe would be a good place to put fruit trees. We have a row of fruit trees right through here. What do fruit trees right there. And you guys all remember the creek, all the problems that we've had with Christina falling in it, and all that kind of stuff. This is where we pump our water to irrigate our gardens in the summertime. And we've had some decent rain, so it's flowing pretty well. Check it out. Someone's throwing an old can down there in it.
Cool, fresh, clean H2O.
Yeah, I don't know how clean it is.
That's honeysuckle.
Filthy,
Waiting on it
would
to come
drink it.
about so we can make honeysuckle jelly again.
I don't think I would drink it. We've got some really good mulch right here, y'all. Look at this. This is some wood shavings that I had Aspen bring us last year when they were cutting the power lines. We had about 6 big piles back here. And since we've either leveled it all down in here, or we put it in our garden, or we put it around our beds, and our neighbor took some. And this is what's left. And actually, it's real spongy walking on it, so there's a lot of it still here. It's just flattened out. But it has really made a good compost. Check this out. That stuff would grow anything. Look at there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you
Right
get
now
some-
it's
get
growing
some dirt
privet
wood
and
pile-
wild blackberries.
Yeah, there's a pile of it right there we could probably get and use somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna put those cannies.
I was thinking over there by that tree.
That's kind of what I thought. Kind of maybe line that corner.
Yeah.
That privet needs to be cut out. And right now, we need to pull those briars out of there. Looks like we had a limb fall. These are 2 oak trees right here. When we cleaned all this out, I left those 2 oak trees right there, and they were really coming on. They were about head high. Now they're double head high. Check it out. I'll make a pretty tree there. That one real quick.
It's all sticks behind it. I don't know if we can see the little trees because it's just sticks and sticks.
They're pretty though. Make nice trees.
And the other one's right there.
Yeah, here's the other one. And looks like, let's see if my azaleas made it at all.
No. They've gone to be with Plant Jesus.
It's gonna be, well, I don't know, it's green.
Garden Jesus.
They may be all right. I'll have to wait and see. Give them another year. See if they pop out. Man, we got to come down here and do some work. It's been so long since I've been down here, folks. I didn't realize it had gotten so out of hand. It's one of these jobs we can do any time of year. All this needs cleaned out.
Okay, so we tilled up this bed, a good bit of it last year, and I threw sunflower seeds down here that didn't take. And we put this tree in, but I think we'll probably, kind of like in a circle back there where you're,
Like a semicircle here on the line.
I think so. I was saying we wanted to grow cut flowers. We've tilled all the way up to those trees there. You can kind of see where it was tilled. And I'll be able to grow flowers there for cut flower bouquets, fresh flowers. I love fresh flowers in the house in the summer. And then there'll be all of this. I imagine we'll just go ahead and till in the middle too. And then it goes that little bed, and then there's another strip right here where we had okra, and my peepees were here, if you remember my peepees. That, by the way, did not work out. Once the vines grew up from the pole beans, they got too heavy, and then we had a big wind storm. I think it was when the hurricane came through, knocked it all down, and never got any beans worth bragging about. I don't think that maybe vegetables is my forte, maybe. I gave it a go, but so, and then when we said we had all of this bed, we've got, you can see these little snowball bushes I've got put back here, and in front of those I had azaleas kind of in a semicircle, and or zinnias, I'm sorry, I had zinnias, and I know they've reseeded, so I'll have zinnias coming up there. So I think from here to, if you can see right there, and then, you know, on the other side, this will be cut flowers also. And then I've not been out here since the first frost. It depresses me a great deal. So I did not come and do anything with the jalapenos, banana peppers. There's still tomato sticks sticking up. And I know it's terrible and sad, but I can't make myself come out here and do anything when it looks this way. I mean, there's nothing to look at in the yard right now. It's nothing pretty, nothing fun. We've left this okra. We thought that it would leave pods so that we could use it for seeds, but we have 3 because what we do have is squirrels, and they've enjoyed that. Squirrels also ate the sunflower seeds I left last year, so I don't think they'll reseed either. But lucky for us, our zone 8, it does give us the luxury of things being able to see. These are some of the sunflowers that seeded themselves and came back up, but didn't have enough time to do anything. Dixie's the rocket dog. She's having a big time. But yeah, I imagine this will all be flowers. All, cut flowers for bouquets and, that kind of thing. But back here, I had Kenny do this bed up for me, and I just don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. I want this one and then a matching one on the other side of the yard. So I think if he'll put the cannies down there behind that tree until that tree grows, they'll get plenty of sun, or maybe even on this line to kind of go. So I'll figure that out in a minute, but I want to match it to the other side. I like cohesive matching. So Kenny's going to do that for me.
This is our line, actually. I'll just put down there and found the corn post.
Did you see where that tree fell? I was down there the other day. That's what I just was discussing with our friends here, is that the line here we've tilled, and that I'll be able to run flowers. This will be the sunflowers all the way.
This will be a border. I mean, in years to come, this will all be a big perennial border all the way down.
Sunflowers.
Perennial flower. Yeah.
Sunflowers.
Yeah. Okay.
For cutting.
Dahlias
Oh, silly, you silly girl. What are you doing down there?
sage, and she almost fell in the creek.
You can take this for a minute. My arms hurt.
Dixie, you having you a big time, baby girl? You having you a big time?
Silly, you're so dirty now. Why did you get all dirty down here?
Say bye, baby.
Bye, guys.